can still hear the song, the melody behind the kiss you gave me.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan, and thank you so much for supporting a good cause like breast cancer research and purchasing this Quintel Designs good cause tutorial, let's call it that. I made this tutorial because I realized that I have a responsibility, I think, as an artist, and I'm not trying to overstate or call myself this great artist or anything, but as a designer, as a member of the world, the community, the design community, I feel like I should be doing good things, or at least getting behind good causes. And as you know, it's all over TV, all over logos, all over the NFL jerseys and uniforms. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I figured let's try and design one of these pink ribbons that you see everywhere to support breast cancer. So open up Illustrator and let's get started. I'm just going to create a new document and bring that right in here. So this document's 2560 by 1440. Of course, you can make it any size you want. We really want to get the basic type of ribbon, which is something, like that. Kind of the folded over. We would see the back of it up here, and one obviously has to overlap the other. So the way I'm going to do that is start with one of the sides of our ribbon, something like this, right? So I'm going to start in by kind of defining what that curve is exactly. And then trying to come up here and drag it down. Not very happy with that. I'm going to try and go for something a little bit higher. Now this right here is a real sharp edge. So what I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit and see if I can't use the Convert Anchor Point tool. You can get to that with Shift-C and try and smooth out what we're seeing here. It's really important that this kind of be at a real sharp point at the top. I may even move this around. And from there, I'm going to try and designate a nice little curve up here. And then I'm going to try my best to match what's going on. So this is starting to take shape. It looks like that top line. I don't feel like I nailed it exactly as I wanted to. I'd like it to have more of a definition going upwards. And we'll edit the path so it bubbles out a little bit. And this path right here should probably have a little bit more curve to the top. Then I feel comfortable I can bring this down, but also enhance the curves that I have going here. What you want to do is you want to have a nice natural feel to the ribbon. So I may even go ahead and use the Add Anchor Point tool. Click somewhere in the middle there. And of course, right, another easy way to do this would simply be, draw the ribbon. And once you draw the ribbon, you can just trace it in Illustrator. We're trying to do this from scratch. That's looking mostly good. This is a little bit of a weird section now. I just want to add some polish to that. Maybe something like that, and then bring the whole thing in a little bit. I'll take this and bring that in as well. So this is sort of thinning out the ribbon as we know it. This curve right here is too sharp. You have to remember, if the ribbon is one consistent piece, that it's always going to be kind of flowing. I'd like the ribbon to have a nice round edge down there. This edge we're going to just try our best to get it going like that. I like that. This one just feels a little bit too pointy to me, so I'm going to try and bring it up and in. And bring this curve in and kind of center that. I think maybe I'll go inward with it. Now, whether you choose to go inward or outward with a lot of these curves is up to you. You'll get a different effect no matter what. And of course, for purchasing this, you'll get ribbons that I make in this tutorial, so you can just go ahead and use my stuff if you don't want to be making your own or spending time on that. Again, I'm liking it, but I just don't feel like it's the proper thickness. I think what I need to do is put something around here to sort of protect the width of the whole thing and be a little bit more broad about this curve right here. I'm starting to like where that's going. Again, I'd like to see it get thicker, right? Because these ribbons usually have a nice, real nice thickness to them. You have to remember they have to work like that because they end up being very small, right? They go on badges or lapels or people's collars. I'm starting to like where that's headed, so I'm going to see what this looks like when I have two of these. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to give it a slight color. I'm going to go Command C and Command F. That's copy and then paste in place. And then I'm going to go to Transform, Reflect, hit OK. Come around here. So that's not terrible. I think one of the things that I'm looking at now is I probably want this to go down a little bit more, a little bit sooner. So I'm going to bring this and just kind of shorten up the height that we're dealing with here. And then change some of the curves. So I like that. I'm going to do the same thing. Command C, Command F. And go for a reflect. Now I almost would like to rotate each of these. So I'm going to rotate until I get a -10 or so degree rotation. And obviously this will be a flat out 10 degree. That was a bit much. Maybe I just want to bring them together a little bit more. And that's pretty good. So since we have this, we need to give kind of the ribbon a connector or back, right? That back is usually just a click, and then hold down Shift and get a straight line going. Curve it right down the middle. And then you want to sort of finish the curve that these 2 points have started. So something around there, and I'm going to click to reset the path. And something like that. You can see I accidentally made this sort of rogue path here. What I do is I'm going to try the convert anchor point. Yeah, that stinks, and I have this kind of extra piece. Let me see what I can do here to fix that. Here's our big long obnoxious curve. Anchor that in. Alright, that's perfect. I'm going to select this and do Command-Shift left bracket and send it behind. That's not bad. I think I'd like to see a little bit more curve here. That looks a little bit better. In fact, I'm going to see what I can do about shrinking that. There we go. So now we have this nice sort of curved ribbon shape. Well, that's just where we kind of get started with this whole thing. The next task we need to do is sort of shade this whole ribbon. Now go ahead and pick any color. Of course, I'm doing a breast cancer awareness tutorial, so I'd be remiss if I did not use pink. That looks like a real nice pink to me. I'm going to leave all the lines on for now, just so I can see what I'm doing. But you'll probably see those go away in the finished product. I'm going to take this pink and in my gradient panel pull the pink right down and sample. Now I have a pink, a white, and a black. I'm going to take over here and grab a darker pink. That's going to create one, and I'm going to come up here and get a lighter pink. I'm going to just drop off the white and the black. So now I sort of have these three colored pinks. Like this pink over here. I'm going to use that just as a shadow and sort of try and manipulate my gradient so it is what I want it to be. I tap and adjust the angle. That looks pretty good to me. I'm going to take this ribbon. I'm also going to sample what I just did over there. Then I'm going to define its gradients. It should have a pretty similar gradient to the other ones, right? Because the light is consistent on both. I'm just going to take this and drag it out a little bit more. Sort of decrease the harshness of that gradient by extending it past the borders. Not necessarily sold on the dark being up there, but we'll take a look. Finally, we'll sample it here as well. But here we want to get from the regular pink down to just the dark pink. Probably in a fashion like that. Now, this ribbon that's going over the top would be casting some sort of shadow underneath this ribbon. So what I'm going to do is take this bottom piece of our ribbon and do Command-C and Command-F. Now that just puts another one right on top. See, so if I move it over here to the side, you see it made an exact other one. And then what I'm going to do is take either a paintbrush or I'll even use the pen tool here. And I'm going to just specify some space. Like that. And I'm going to color this something really different. I'm going to select that as well with Shift. I'll even put this behind. And then what I want is just the path that is overlapping in these two shapes. So just the path that intersects. And I'm going to choose the intersect option in the Pathfinder. I like how that looks. Now what I'm going to do is color that with our gradient and pull off essentially all the other parts. In fact, this pink I'm going to make RGB white. And I'm doing this in an RGB document, by the way. If you wanted to see it in a CMYK document, The process is basically the same. Now I've kind of made a white to this darker purple gradient, which I'm going to spread out a little bit. Even make a finer line here, so draw a sharper contrast between what's going on with this purple and the white. And I'll use the gradient thing, so circle is not right. I need to stretch this out and put it at the same angle that this ribbon is falling. Shrink it up a little bit. So I like that. I'm going to take this now and get rid of the black lines. Select it as well, and I'm going to put it in multiply mode. So over in transparencies, I'll select multiply. And you can see now our top ribbon is going to cast a shadow on our bottom ribbon. In fact, let's select everything and just kill the lines on it all. So now we have a nice, fairly convincing ribbon. What I'll do now is I'll just take this ribbon and I'll make an exact copy of it. Command G and group it together, and I'm going to shrink it down because I plan on using a tool to sort of manipulate it in a more organic way. So I need to find the tool here. Here it is, the warp tool. You can get to it with Shift R. But the warp tool will basically let us now kind of come in and do some modifications to make this ribbon all sorts of different sizes, shapes. You know, you can take the ribbon, I'll group this one here, make a copy, and I'll shrink it way, way down. Then I'll use the warp tool to sort of pull it up and pull these edges down. And when I scale it back up, you can see the warp tool will lead some oddities behind with your ribbon. So you can go in, right? Take your white direct select tool and sort of manipulate, remanipulate, reconnect the stuff. The damage, I guess you could say, that was done with the warp tool. I come over here to this one. This one got even funkier. Yeah, look at that. Bring this down and in. This just seems to be one big curve it was turned into. So that'll need to come back. Bring its curve in here. Bring it in down there. Bring it down there as well, right? I'll alter the curves and the points up here. So now you have kind of three different ribbons that are all flowing in slightly different ways. If I want to reduce the contrast, say on this one, the gradient looks like it became a little side morphed. This is now a taller gradient, right? It might even be slightly thinner. Needs to be recentered to around there. I'll drop it off a little bit so it's less severe. And there you have it. There's three pink ribbons, all slightly different from each other, you know, and I suggest you use the warp tool yourself and kind of manipulate these in different ways, see all the different kinds of styles and effects that you can achieve. I may clean up this one down here as well. But as I'm doing that, I just want to take a second and say thank you so much for purchasing this tutorial. Basically, what I'm going to do is every single time I get a sale, I'm going to wait till the end of the week or the end of the month. And once I have the sales in bulk, I'm just going to head over to the Susan G. Komen website and make a donation right through PayPal. And of course, your payments are coming in through PayPal, so in through PayPal, out through PayPal. It should work pretty well. I know that I've never asked anybody really to pay for a tutorial before, but this seemed like a great cause to do it with. So I hope anybody out there who's ever suffered through cancer, spreads the word, as well as being an activist for these type of things, or maybe you're a designer who's had cancer, and you can share your story. Absolutely, share your story. I'd love to add it to the website or tell other people about it, and just live life. We have a responsibility, I think, as designers to try and improve the quality of life, not just for us, but for the society that we're a part of. And before I get too preachy, as I'm adjusting gradients here, I think the best thing for me to do is just be very humble, say thank you, and get out of your hair. And just thank you guys very much. Until then, have a great day, and keep designing.